cheers.
CraftBeerMan here.
We're coming to you from
Not New York.
Southern California, but we're
Yeah.
actually reviewing a beer from New York. And
Yep.
little backstory on this one. Andrew and I had spent some time out in Manhattan. Oh, I guess it's been probably a year ago.
It was a year ago, yeah.
We found a local bar that had this beer called Flower Power IPA
Yep.
from Ithica Beer Company.
And that's in Ithaca, New York.
In Ithaca, New York, and,
Yep.
and we drank this one pretty regular on that trip. I think we were in there pretty much every day. And the guy, I think second day, the bartender
Yeah, that's
knew
cool.
a couple Flower Powers, right?
That
at the
felt
end of the
really
bar.
good, Max. When we went in that third night, and he goes, same thing?
Yeah.
And we go, yeah, we'll take the flower power. And he had two poured pretty much by the time we sat down. That was
Yeah.
pretty cool. I love
So
it.
I was out in New York last week. Andrew couldn't make that trip, and I was reminiscing, and I thought, we never reviewed the Flower Power. So I found the Flower Power in a bottle at the local Whole Food store there. By the way, if you're in Manhattan, be ready to take your big checkbook because, a six-pack of anything is stupid. But I would go to the Whole Food store on Columbia Circle, and they got a great selection of craft beers, including the Ithaca Flower Power.
That's some nice knowledge right there, by the way, for those going to New York to be able to
Yeah, because otherwise you're going to be getting Bud Light and Heineken and all that kind of stuff for $25 a six-pack. If you just take a $5 cab ride, you've got a nice selection of craft.
Right, and anyone who follows CraftBeerMan is not drinking that stuff. So
No,
they need
exactly.
they need a flower power or something like this.
So here we go. We both enjoyed it back there, but again, out of the bottle, you never know.
We enjoyed it enough to talk about it for weeks after, to say, remember that flower power? We really
Yeah.
did. And then you went back and you hit it again. So as far as the nose, it's got a nice hoppy scent.
It's
right
definitely
there.
a fruity, a little bit sweeter fruity kind of hoppiness. It doesn't have a lot of, that kind of piney, astringent, or a huge in-your-face cascade kind of nose, but
It's
definitely hoppy.
it's orange in color mostly. It's an orangish,
A little bit
amberish
cloudy.
orange. Yeah.
It's got a little bit of
It's not
cloudiness to it.
completely
I don't know
filtered,
if
is
it was filtered or maybe just naturally filtered, but let's see if it's what we remember. Oh. Yeah, I remember that beer.
I like it.
It's got a
I
nice.
really do like it.
It's how I describe it is soft.
Mm-hmm.
It almost reminds me of a fresh hop ale, and maybe the flower power part of it kind of goes to that. But it does have a softer. It's not really an East Coast IPA in that some of those tend to be a little bit more like pale ales. It still feels like an IPA, but almost like a wet hop IPA to me.
Yeah, what I see is that it's more earthy than most IPAs that are not called a fresh hop.
Exactly.
It's more of that earthy, flowery feel, and the bitterness is equaled out with the flowery hoppiness. It's like I wouldn't say this is a bitter. Now, by the way, it comes in at 7.5%.
Ooh, that's pretty solid.
We love the fact when there's no alcohol.
Yeah.
There is no alcohol twinge whatsoever. It's pure, just
nice enjoyment.
Nice
I mean,
IPA.
it tastes like a session kind of IPA,
Yeah, you could get into
but
this
a little more
all
solid than that on the
Yeah.
alcohol. So overall, hey, definitely a great beer. And if you're on the East Coast, hey, I'd definitely be drinking this one on a regular basis.
One of my favorite East Coast IPAs right here.
Yeah, I
and
agree.
something I would look forward to whenever I think of New York and I'm thinking beer, which I do normally. When I think of a place, I think of beer.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I would think of Flower Power. How could I get it? And
First
you
one
know
that
what?
pops into my mind.
Max, I texted you when you were in New York. Have you found the Flower
You did,
Power yet?
yeah.
And you said not yet.
Not
What's the name
yet.
of it?
And there's a Heartland Brewing Company there that's pretty nice, and they make
Yeah.
some good beers too. But this one is probably, I'd say, when we're in New York City, this is a favorite of mine as well. So I'm thinking it's a 4. What are you feeling?
I'm gonna up the ante. I think it's a 4.5.
I think it's a 4.5. I was kind of in the middle between 4 and 4.5. I could push into a 4.5.
Let's
and feel pretty good
do
about
that.
it. That's what the Flower Power does. It's a little flower power into the 4.5.
And let me ask you a question before we do depart. As far as, because you had it just 5 days ago on draft, is it much different? Or?
Yeah, it's a 4 in a bottle and a 4.5.
Okay,
on
let's go with
draft.
that.
I like that.
Let's go with that then.
Yeah, it's a little bit better in the draft. Now I don't know how old the bottle is, condition it's been in, but
it's still very good.
It was a little nicer in draft.
Okay, so let's go. yeah, you're there, and you got on draft 4.5 4 mug out of the bottle. That's a new thing for us. Maybe we'll use it once in a while. If
we might have a little routine going here.
So
all right, so cheers. Follow us on Facebook.
Yep. /CraftBeerMan.
Beerman. And Twitter.
You remember it?
At the CraftBeerMan.
Yeah, at the CraftBeerMan.
We've been doing a little tweeting where we're at, and also Untapped. Look for us on Untapped. Those of you that are out there, and you'll see the beers that we're drinking. So cheers, and we'll see you next time.
Cheers, beer friends.
Kampai.